Thanks for the support as a channel member, Ollie Gunnar Kvam. FA Cup 4th round time at home against Newcastle. We're going to fill the newly expanded Abbey Lawn. I predict a record attendance, and Pavlov still scoring goals. What a wonderful time to be a Bourne fan. Hello and welcome to part 79 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that FA Cup 4th round tie at home against Newcastle. Hopefully followed immediately by a replay against them back at their place so we can clear some of this debt. But failing that, we'll have the derby game and also, of course, the ending of the transfer window. Talking of transfer window, and there has been a little bit of business gone on. We've brought in 2 more players on loan. Kenny Woodrow is a right winger. We've not actually played him yet. He's not as good as the scout reports indicated he would be. So he's just kind of in as a squad player via Luton. But the one who is actually good and is actually playing is Paul Malloy, who's a 23-year-old centre-back, a no-nonsense 6'2" stopper. Proper non-league player. But he's championship quality. He's a championship quality non-league player, which is awesome. He's the best centre-back at the club, better than Hewson. And he's come straight into the team and he's playing really well. Another one on loan from Forest who just seem to have a wealth of talent that they don't use. It's weird. We've had Barnes on loan for 3 years from them. Now we've got Malloy on loan. Forest are below us in the league and just loaning us players who walk straight into our first 11. It feels like a job where if someone actually went in there and knew what they were doing, they'd be in the Premier League in no time, but it doesn't seem to be happening. We've also got transfers or a transfer arranged for the summer. Ben Forrest is another young centre-back / midfielder. Scottish under-19 international. He's coming in on a free transfer from Hearts. He is currently not good enough to get in our team, but has lots of potential. And he was cheap. Well, he's free specifically because he was an out-of-contract player from Scotland, so officially foreign, which means we could get him for nothing. We missed out on the couple of other foreign youngsters we were trying to get in on pre-contracts, which is a shame, but not a disaster, because we've never done transfers this early before. I just thought I'd take advantage of that rule that's bitten us a few times in the past. So, the team for the Newcastle game, we're going with Hardy in goal, a back four of Barnes, Hewson, Malloy and Dodd. You can see we've adjusted the instructions for the defenders to fit the new signing of Malloy. Hernandez and Arnautovic in midfield. Fitzpatrick, Grayson and Mejia behind Pavlov up front, who, once again, while you lot weren't watching, scoring goals. I talked about him yesterday, and he didn't score any goals while you were watching. You lot go away. 3 more goals in 3 games since then. The man is a very good striker when you're not here. I expect him to have another terrible game today, but he is, if you rule out the 2 players who've only played 4 games between them, comfortably player of the season so far. Yet I imagine you still don't like him for whatever reason. Pavlov is great. Right, let's get into this game. Remember, the dream result, well, the dream result is a win, but the ideal result, if we put our business hat on, we're playing on an ice rink. Delightful. But the ideal result is we go back to their place. Now, Newcastle are going to be uncomfortable playing on a frozen pitch. Or it can't be frozen, it just must be a snow-covered pitch. Because obviously they're used to playing on pitches that have undersoil heating. Whereas we don't even have a car park. So they're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. This might be one of those days where we can mug them and nick a win because they're just completely out of their comfort zone. But like I say, finances-wise, I'd rather go back to their place and have another game because they've got one of the biggest grounds in the Premier League. They've got a fan base that seems to turn up even if it's a boring game against a team you've never heard of from the division below. So it seems like an opportunity to go and get arguably our biggest gate receipt income ever if we can go up to an away game in Newcastle, but it's obviously a big if. Should they be allowed to play in a kit the same colour as the ball? The ball's yellow, isn't it? Not orange. Their kits do stand out nicely, but they do blur in with the ball a little bit to my weird colourblind eyes. They're knocking the ball around really well, aren't they? They don't seem intimidated at all by the fact they're playing in the snow in the middle of Lincolnshire with no car park. And I mean, there is a Tesco down the road. You could probably fit 200 cars in there. So as long as they haven't come down in major numbers, they'll be all right. We obviously don't ever have major numbers, so we're all walking distance from the ground. No one comes from outside of Bourne to watch us. Most of the people inside of Bourne don't watch us. We've not had a shot in the entirety of that first half, which doesn't really matter for as long as it's 0-0, because for as long as it's 0-0, the away game is still on the cards, and the away game is what Sir Mick Powell, in his capacity as chairman and financier of the club, wants. There's your confirmation. It is a record attendance for Abbey Lawn, and that's a good goal, and I don't think we're getting our replay. But nearly 5,500 people in here, capacity crowd, only 1,400 of them from Newcastle as well. There's 4,000 Bourne fans inside Abbey Lawn today. For context, that's more than went to Wembley for the playoff final last season. Obviously, they're into Newcastle more than they're into getting promoted to the Championship. Right, I don't know what we do here, because Newcastle are obviously a better team and we've not been in this game at all. We just need a moment of brilliance from somebody, but we're unlikely to get that because Pavlov's not going to score because you lot are watching. So maybe if you all kind of turn away, just listen to the next half hour of the game so Pavlov can grab a goal, because he's afraid of you. So just look away, but keep listening so you know when it's safe to look back. Dodd's doing his very best to try and get some... My word! I said we needed a moment of brilliance. Casey Grayson has just given us a moment of brilliance. He's just signed a new 3-year contract with the club. He's done enough in the few appearances he's made this season to suggest there's a player in there. He looked amazing on his debut, has dropped behind Thorndyke in the pecking order since then, but this might be a coming of age day for Casey Grayson, because that is an absolutely world-class goal against Premier League opposition. And now we've got a corner. It's Fitzpatrick to take. It's an in-swinger aimed at the far post, and Pavlov was there. Good work. Continue to not look. I know you didn't see the goal from Grayson. Just believe it was a good one. If you did see it, that's why Pavlov didn't score there, because you're watching. Just look away. Look away. All of a sudden, I don't care about a replay. I just want to beat Newcastle. It's become about football again rather than money. Arnautovic to Dodd. Dodd back to Malloy. Ball forward, looking for Pavlov, but it's absolutely nowhere near him. And Newcastle knocking the ball around again, trying to get a counter-attack going. We're trying to get a tackle in, and Hardy is there. Safe hands Hardy. Isn't going to let a goal from range go past him like that. And now we look at the team. It's substitute o'clock. What are we going to do? What have we got on the bench that could make a difference to what's going on that pitch? Barnes is having a poor game, as is Fitzpatrick. So there's an argument for sticking Fitzpatrick or even just swapping them over. But then Fitzpatrick isn't much of a defender. But if we stick Fitzpatrick back there, we can then bring... I was going to bring Bruce on, but my assistant manager's saying Husic, and Husic is a better finisher. So maybe we do bring Husic on and make him the attacking player. Swap these lot all around. Doesn't make a lot of sense to have Dodd attacking and Fitzpatrick on support, but maybe telling Fitzpatrick to go on support will just calm him down a little bit. I mean, Kitchen can play left back. I don't really want him to. Mejia is also having a pretty poor game. Can Husic play on the right wing? He can't. Pavlov can, but I don't really want to. I say I don't really want to. That's what we're going to do. We're going to swap everything back round again, having done that. Pavlov is going to go out there. He's going to go up front. And then we want Pavlov to be the attacking one. He can go back to support. He can go back to attack. That makes more sense than what we had before. No, I was going to go attacking there. We're drawing. We don't need to go attacking. That's crazy. We will ask for a little bit of creativity, because obviously we had some creativity from Grayson to score the equaliser. A little bit more creativity would go down really rather nicely. 10 minutes to go. Pavlov again, he cannot play in front of you lot. You pick on him and he doesn't like it. You're ruining that boy's day. I'm going to have to stop showing Bourne episodes. I'll just show you the in-betweeny bits and tell you how good he did in the in-between bits. But he just can't perform for you. It's sad. What's not sad is that we've picked up the draw, which means we get the replay, which is absolutely the perfect result when it comes to our club finances. So let's just do a before and after on our club finances. Grayson needs a pat on the head for his wonder goal in that game. Fantastic goal. The Newcastle game should be next. It is. So pre-Newcastle away, our balance is minus 546,000. We're going to go and play the game and see what difference it makes. Hopefully it's a sellout. So, a couple of changes for the big away game at Newcastle. Bruce comes in on the left-hand side. Fitzpatrick dropping back to left back. And we've also got Thorndyke coming in as the attacking midfielder, which I know seems insane. But Grayson tired himself out doing his wonder goal. So we've dropped him down to the bench. And Thorndyke has been the better player over the course of the season. So Thorndyke deserves a crack at him as well. If they're vulnerable to an attacking midfielder, let's play our best one in there and see what happens. Grayson can always come on if Thorndyke has a bad game. I am desperately hoping that today is the day that Pavlov looks good in a video. Just desperate. Right, nobody expects us to do anything. Just go out there, play your game. What we're looking for is an absolutely packed St James's Park, and it looks like it is. It's difficult to tell because they're all wearing black and the seats are black. So it's hard to tell for sure, but it looks pretty full to me. And if this place is full, we're about to clear our overdraft, which is it'll be the first time that overdraft has been cleared mid-season for like 10 years probably. It gets cleared every summer by Sir Mick Powell because he's crazy and has bottomless pockets. But it would be nice to be able to get to the end of January and say, there you go, Sir Mick. Overdraft is clear. It's over to you now. Mehia's in and he's scored. 3 minutes on the clock. It's Newcastle United 0, Bourne Town 1. A 6th goal of the season for Mejia. And I wasn't expecting that. Fitzpatrick, maybe he was a left back all along because it's a beautiful pass into the path of Mejia, who grabs his 6th goal of the season. We've got a corner now. It's Fitzpatrick to take. And Arnautovic was very, very close, all 6'5" of him, to powering a header in at the far post. Thorndyke picks up the scraps, gives it back to Fitzpatrick, who plays Bruce in. Bruce is in! And it's a save and another corner. And since adjusting my corner tactics in the last episode, we are much more dangerous from these as well. Not just because of who we've got lined up in certain areas, but because rather than it being centre-backs on the edge of the area to recycle the play, it's Thorndyke stood there. And he's much better at keeping hold of the ball and keeping the attack going after the original corner. So that was a dangerous little spell. I feel like to be really in with a chance of winning, we probably needed to go 2-0 up with that little burst of play, because I don't think 1-0 is enough. Newcastle just overpower us, and they're charging down our left-hand side now, and that is shot just wide. And that's the second time already they've got in that position and had that shot. Fitzpatrick struggling to keep hold of the guy charging down that wing, who I can't actually see. I thought... my brain's not working. I can't see the name of the player who was charging. I assumed it would be their right winger, but the name doesn't look right. I'll try and look out for his name the next time he does it. Mejia charging through again. He's got Dodd on a huge overlap, and Hernandez sees him. Beautiful pass. Dodd is there, ready for the cross. It's Bruce, and it's 2-0 at St James's Park. This is ridiculous. We had a lovely time in the FA Cup last season, and we're doing it again. We're 2-0 up away from home at Premier League Newcastle. And that is a lovely header from Bruce. Surely not. Surely this is just us teasing them before they go and actually win the game properly later on. There you go. This is where the comeback begins. I can't believe that we're actually going to win the game. So I do expect them to get back into it. It's messy back there, and I mean, that's not the kind of goal we expected to concede, because we can defend better than this. This isn't Newcastle doing well. This is us self-combusting a little bit. Fitzpatrick with the poor clearance. It's bobbling around. Hardy does the best he can. He made one save in amongst all the mess, but they've scored a very scrappy goal, and this might even be a second, and it's a good save from Hardy. But Newcastle have just gone up a gear, and we cannot cope with it. Hardy grabbing the ball out of the sky again. Remember, Hardy was the star of the FA Cup run last year. Some real heroics from him in that run. And maybe he's got some more of that in him today. Fitzpatrick. Big pass over to Dodd, who again gets himself into a crossing position but can't quite get the ball into the penalty area this time. Malloy's there to tidy things up at the back though, and Dodd's made it all the way back. Arnautovic to Thorndyke. Pavlov's dropped deep, gives it to Mejia, who's got Arnautovic there. Fitzpatrick on the overlap. Fitzpatrick! He was never going to score because he's Fitzpatrick, and we know he can't score. That's why he's playing at left back today, because he is so creative and so skillful and gets into such good positions, but he cannot shoot for toffee. My word, Thorndyke's having a poor game, so Grayson is out warming up already. That's going to be a change you can expect to see on the usual substitute clock at 68 minutes. Pavlov, again, stage fright. We've got Husic and Scargill down on the bench. We'll have to make a decision about which one of them's coming on. But that is the change that's happening now. Those two off. So Grayson comes on for Thorndyke. I think we'll bring Husic on for Pavlov. And just hope that we can cling on to this. This is where we need Hardy to step up with his heroics. And Fitzpatrick, though, with a corner. It's a poor corner this time. If we're not going to aim at the big lad, our corner tactic doesn't work. Hernandez heads forward to Bruce to try and keep the move going. Bruce has done very well here. Amazing little run and gets the cross away, but can't find Husic. And now Newcastle have got some space to break into. Is that Hernandez who's charging back, though, to get the cover in, and he did very, very well. He's had a good game again today, Hernandez. What a signing he's turned out to be. And Hardy just keeps hold of the ball, takes the sting out of everything, slows everything down. Hardy is a hero in situations like this. Right, who have we got on the bench for a final change? Fitzpatrick is shattered. Barnes is not on the bench. Do we risk Liam Kitching at left back? Can he actually do it properly? He kind of can. And Fitzpatrick is shattered and can't defend. So it kind of does make sense, but it doesn't make sense to have him playing on an attacking instruction. So I think what we might do is just drop everyone back just a little bit. We're not having a huge change, but just drop everyone back just a little bit and maybe stick some time wasting on. Just sometimes time wasting for now. We'll up that again if we're still ahead with 5 minutes to go. We don't want the players to think they've won and can just rest on their laurels. But at the same time, we don't want to, we'll keep wasting time. Time wasting is good. So now we're on full time wasting. And I don't want to drop back behind balanced because I don't think we're good enough to do it. But it's the 90th minute. This would be a great victory if we can hold on. Dodd clears, finds Husic. Husic does well to keep hold of it as well. Plays it all the way back to Hardy. He's done well there. Hardy playing it forward, looking for Bruce, and Bruce has managed to get hold of it as well. And Bruce has got options. We just need to keep hold of the ball. If we can keep hold of the ball for 3 minutes, we're in the 5th round of the FA Cup for the 2nd year running. Mejia had Dodd on the overlap, hasn't used him, and Dodd, questionable that he's up there. He's not playing on an attack instruction anymore. He didn't need to be there, but Hardy, luckily, gets everyone out of trouble. I mean, it was a very tame shot. I don't think there was too much to fear there. But we have just pulled off one of the great victories in the history of this football club, and the love affair that Bourne Town have with the FA Cup continues. We're through to the 5th round for the 2nd year in a row. Who are we playing? Bristol City at home. You know what? That is a winnable football match. Can we go one further than last year? Obviously, we will be back for the FA Cup game. That will be tomorrow. It's a long way away, actually. That's a really long way away. Why is there such a big gap? We might come back halfway through because that's a lot of games to play. We'll see how form is. But the all-important question... so we got 214,000 just for winning the game. Have we cleared the overdraft with the Newcastle gate receipts? And then some. By going there and winning, we made close to £750,000. And the FA Cup run continues. Love the FA Cup. It's so much fun. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.